Proteus is an early Greek god of the sea, known for being versatile and able to shapeshift. So what does that have to do with the movie Proteus, which has drug smuggling, genetic engineering, and a shark monster? Well, let's find out. We're first introduced to a bunch of people who I honestly didn't take time to learn their names. This early on, you know it's a numbers game, and all of these characters are just here to add to the body count. It really only amounts to Alex and his girlfriend Rachel, and Linda and her boyfriend Paul. All the rest aren't important. They're all drug smugglers moving heroin across the border by boat. And we can see that they're not doing a very good job. Their ship blows up before the end of the opening credits. Well, they managed to survive and get on board a life raft. It turns out that one guy was smoking a joint and he dropped it in the fuel tank, and boom, 600 kilos of dope in the ocean. They're not really sure what to do at this point, but out from the fog comes what they believe will be their salvation, when in reality, it's much worse. They bang on the boat for some help, but no one comes, so they're forced to climb up the side. Once they get to the top, they can see why no one answered. The place is deserted. They all wander around for a while, finding a whole bunch of weird stuff, one being a lab where they can tell genetic research was being done. Some pretty advanced things are going on here too. Everyone goes from room to room, slowly putting the puzzle pieces together.
This is a biological research unit.
This is an oil rig, but it's not drilling. Is this just a front for the genetic research station? They throw out all kinds of ideas, from environmentally safe oil to manufacturing a new drug. Eventually, they do find a place to get some sleep for the night. And of course, Alex and Rachel do it. Sure, your lives are in danger, you have no idea what's going on. This is a good time to have sex. After they do that, they go looking for Paul. Oh, yeah, he went missing at some point during all the walking around. They hear him behind a door, and they try to get in, but it's not budging. Not until it opens, and we see Dr. Shelley, a survivor who warns them to leave right now. But they know Paul is in there, and they can't leave without him. A fight breaks out, and for an old man, Dr. Shelley's pretty strong. After losing, the group moves on to find yet another scientist wandering around the ship. They catch up to her, and she confirms that this is a research center, but she's acting weird and breathing funny.
Now, enough of the silly breathing.
Almost sounds like something else is trying to break out of her. She also reveals that they got all their funding from a guy named Brinkstone, some old rich dude who doesn't want to die.
Well, of course he does, and who does?
She gets away, and they find yet another member of the crew, Buckley, a security guard. He warns them that Charlie's coming. They escape to a room and wait, guns loaded. Buckley explains that the scientists messed up. Charlie's getting stronger, and they can't control him anymore. Just then, he attacks and they open fire. But it turns out that Charlie was inside Buckley. For just a moment, he was able to regain control of his body. Kind of like Proteus the god. He was a shapeshifter. See, it all makes sense now. Kinda. Well, he ended up hurting Rachel pretty bad, and they take her to the infirmary. While everyone's yapping, some, slime ball comes down from the ceiling and into Rachel's mouth. It's real nasty. She starts to turn into this goop and her heart rate goes up. They come to check in on her, and lo and behold, she's fine. Okay, I get how the monster can somehow heal her instantly, but how did it clean up the goop on the sheets? Does the monster have instant dry cleaning powers too? Well, with Rachel seemingly okay, Alex has a look around, and he finds a tape with a message left from Dr. Shelley. He explains that he's tired of fighting Charlie, and he'll soon turn, just like all the others. But what is Charlie? Well, we know that living tissue is 95% water, The trick is to concentrate the other 5%, which is what they managed to do, to make synthetic DNA, instant evolution. They called their experiment Proteus, which started on lab rats and then moved on to using a shark, which they nicknamed Charlie. Their experiment worked a little too well, and when Charlie escaped, they couldn't kill him. They made something unkillable, and in the end, it got them all. Also, they kind of shoehorn in that if the creature is on heroin, it'll confuse it, so then you might be able to kill it. I think that part is here only to justify making these people drug smugglers, and somehow making that plot point relevant. But it doesn't work. While he's watching the tape left behind, the others are dealing with Rachel, who attacks with her new super strength. In the end, a few people are killed, and Linda manages to escape. Alex does manage to find Rachel, but by now he knows better. That's not his girlfriend. Her scars healed too quickly, so he shoots her down. Alex then finds Linda, who doesn't trust he is who he says he is, thinking Charlie's already infected him. That's when Alex drops this bombshell. He isn't Alex the drug smuggler, but Alex the cop. That's right, it turns out that the police were onto their little drug running game, and he was sent here to bust them. But they stumbled upon this mess instead. They team up and head to the lab, where they actually find Paul. Yeah, remember him? The guy who had been lost wandering around on his own this whole movie? There's no way he hasn't had a visit from Charlie. But Linda trusts him, and he throws Alex into a vat filled with green goo. Then Paul tosses a grenade in for good measure. Alex grabs it before it can go off, and he aims the grenade at a window to make his escape. That's not how grenades work. And why couldn't Alex just swim to the surface? Anyway, Linda figures out Paul pretty quickly. And Alex comes to the rescue, where he tosses the other grenade down his pants. Paul just stands there looking at it like, I think he deserves to blow up. Just then, finally help arrives. But nope, it's not help, but Brinkstone and his men looking to get an update on how his experiment's going. And as you can see, not very well. They hold up Linda and Alex, who try to reason with them, telling them that Dr. Shelley here is the bad guy. When that doesn't work, he's forced to get physical, and he shoots down Dr. Shelley. But of course he gets right back up. Brinkstone's super excited to see that his experiment worked, and he can now live forever. Well, maybe not. Alex and Linda make their escape right as Brinkstone arms a bomb for 15 minutes. That's a long time, and you know why? We have to have our final confrontation with Charlie. As they run on the deck, Alex sees Rachel, and even though he knows she's not who she says she is, he can't shoot her. He probably should have, because Charlie makes his grand appearance, fully transforming right in front of our eyes. I have to admit, even though it's a bit dark, the special effects here look fan-freaking-tastic. I would expect them to, because the director, Bob Keane, also did the makeup for Candyman, Hellraiser, and Life Force. Yeah, remember that one with the hot naked space vampires?
Use my body.
Anyway, they fight back and forth, with Alex getting the upper ground and dumping gasoline all over the monstrosity, lighting it on fire. He throws in a nice heroic jump there for good measure. Charlie falls, the bomb explodes, all the stuff you would expect to see in the climax of a movie. I do want to point out, as the timer's counting down, there's a voice going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like you see in any movie, but at the end it says goodbye.
Goodbye.
I've never heard that on a timer before. What kind of timer says, goodbye, you're dead? Alex and Linda make their escape on Brinkstone's helicopter, with the pilot being forced to fly them by gunpoint. But is the pilot really human anymore? Or is he Charlie? And that was Proteus, which, if you didn't know, is based off the book Slimer by Harry Adam Knight. I have heard the book is much better than the film, however, and I'm glad to hear it, because the movie is mediocre at best. Let me start with the good. I like the atmosphere they created here. A giant abandoned oil rig out in the middle of the ocean is pretty creepy, and you get sucked into the story along with the main characters who are just wondering what happened here. But speaking of the characters, they're not A-grade actors. Now, it's not that bad, but let's just say I don't see him winning any Academy Awards on this one. There's a cameo from Doug Bradley, aka Pinhead, who played Bringstone, but I imagine he only did this as a favor to the director, as he also did the makeup for Hellraiser. The creature effects are pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. The giant shark monster was a highlight of the film, even if it was a little too dark to truly see it. But the characters are as unlikable as they come. Most are drug addicts that you don't care about from the start. Alex was fine, but he would fit in better in an action movie, not here. The music was Storyline was pretty confusing until you can connect all the pieces. All in all, Proteus is a solid attempt, but there's far better movies out here like this one. I give it 2, dangly things going into Rachel's mouth out of 4.
Something very weird going on here.
No. What was your first clue?